Hi. I wanted to just talk some about being and becoming. This dance that we're doing in life all the time. The idea of being is really when we take back all of the outer and we start peeling away, in a way, all of the ideas and beliefs that we have created that have formed this personhood, and in a way disidentify with this person who is an individuated facet of the whole. So in being, we have disidentified with the personhood to the point where the personhood is still present, but it's not in the way of what is that's coming through the personhood. So this is an unobstructed, surrendered state that's available to what is arising and is one or together or unified within that field of awareness. There's not a confusion between the personhood and the greatness of the universe that is operating as the let me see if I rephrase that. There's no confusion between the idea of what one is, which is all including personhood, but not reduced to only personhood within a measurement called time, which is past, present, and future in a kind of a linear way that almost like a movie camera takes snapshots, creates this idea of birth through death, and then is within the person, lives within the personhood, forgetting that there's somebody filming the whole movie tower taking snapshots, putting all the snapshots together, and that there's a whole other reality or universe that's happening behind the scenes as well. So in beingness, there's also the becoming. The becoming is like, or akin to, in a way, the emergent value, where we become exposed to what is underneath, and now we see what is. Often, what happens in the moment that we are revealed something new and we become that, we identify with it. And that identification again reduces us or puts us back in the story where we've lost the fullness of the universal reality that we're also simultaneously operating at the cost of the person or the personality. Again, this reduced version of who we think, or the thinker that has concluded what is and is no longer available in that facet to the fullness of the reality of itself as more than this. And this being and becoming, this field of isness that's always operating, that's not confused by the by the personhood or the becoming, that is what it is present with us just as much as, in a way, the excitement of losing ourselves, that fullness to reduce ourselves into this body, these sensorial experiences, and relate to ourselves in a very reduced way. It's that here in the reduction, we ride these roller coasters that often are around our emotional experiencing and our identification with ourselves, that generate these emotional, ups and downs and suffering that we relate to or with, as our belief of who we are. And so there's something, I think, to be said about becoming aware of the tendency that we have to identify or attach our awareness to a thing and objectify it again, and become the thing. And often I find that this is what we call creating. That through the mental field, or that we expose ourselves to ideas, and when we have what may be a new idea, we take the idea and we superimpose that idea onto a version of ourselves. And then we start to move with that and say, I'm creating something new, or I'm creating. But we forget often that to have anything new within our awareness, we would have to, for a brief moment, whether that's a millisecond or a big, long, meditative space of nothing, have silenced the mind, the thinker, enough that a spontaneous or new, original thought arises within us. That is not from the thinker. That is not from this limited person or personhood reality. That's from beyond. That's why it's creative. That's why we in our personhood could not have created that, because within the thinker, it has a limited framework of understanding. It in itself is not creative until we stop, pause, the reflection, the emergence, and then the becoming aware of that which we're aware of. This is a co-creative process, right? So in this co-creative field, in this emergence that's happening, we believe that we are guiding our ship by saying, I'm creating, I want to be. This I that wants something, creating distance between me and the object that it wants. Now it's saying, I want this, and I'm going to superimpose my desire on myself to become that. All of this becoming in the world, that's still stuck in a prison in a way, void of its awareness of the larger field that's operating, of being, is a limited creatorship. It's a limited partnership, and can only keep superimposing ideas and concepts can be fun, but it's not really liberating consciousness because the thoughts themselves are void of seeing the source of the creation. It as a separate identity has gleaned to the idea that the personhood is creative one, instead of the source in which the creative spark came from. And then the co-creative part, just choice to move in alignment with the creative spark. So the confusion at micro level of who's actually creating, who gave the creative spark of insight, of awareness, of satori, of liberation, where that came from is from that field of being, isness that's present. And the more that we can stay and become aware of this field that's operating within us, as us, and yet not, and yet it is, the more the co-creative reality is responding, and the potency of our creations are uh, are more. The power and the potency of our creations will become more. Being and becoming. Thank you for being with me.